All right, guys. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. So, just now, like Pritama has introduced me, that we are going to talk a bit about the certified network defense and certified SOC analyst, which is the combination of these two will generate a great, powerful defense in our organization. Okay. Without further no. I will just go to the main slide. My name is Rachdianto. I'm a IT security consultant. I'm working since professionally since 1992, and before that I was a security consultant, but not in the offensive area, because last time when I was when the internet is just growing in 1995, so a lot of my project is just to develop internet technologies and web application and any others. And yeah, like what Pritama just told me just now, that I also, if I'm free, I also deliver an IT security consultant, and of course IT security training courses in Indonesia, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Myanmar, Brunei, Sri Lanka, and of course I have some experiences in developing some of the project IT, start from the system integration for the multinational company. Okay, that's my introduction. I'm sure you know me already. Just call me Billy. If there's any question, just type in the chat box, and later I saw there are around 274 or 370, maybe 300 attendees in here. So just pay attention to my presentation. If you have any question, just don't be hesitant to type your question in the chat box. All right. Okay. This is just a brief experience or a brief history of mine. I started my career as a programmer last time. As you know, last time there was no internet, there was no LAN, there's no local network, and in year 1991 to 1994, I was a programmer part time, and I'm doing a C programming, but actually I do a CPM programming in Apple II and Commodore 64. And then in earlier, when the internet is coming in year 25, so I have a lot of project to develop or implement the internet system in most of the country. Okay, if you ask me about the security related experience, actually it's accidentally I go to this field. It's because last time there's not a lot of attack, but the system is only to protect, not to protect, but yeah, just to develop, just to build the system. But then in earlier 1997 or 98, we have a lot of attack, and the internet security growing nowadays. I can see from the last 10 years in many countries, like even in Singapore, in Australia. And in with this presentation, I will try to give you insight about why you need the defensive under quote a special defensive, and also why now we need something like SOA, the security operation center, SOC. All right. Okay. So my career in my agenda today, if yeah, because this one is only 1 hour. So I'm going to talk about the some of the easy console courses, like why you need to take the CND, Department of Defense, and why you want to take the CSA, the new modules from easy console, the Certified Security Operations Center Analyst, and then the story behind that. Okay, because I need to have you to what you call this, based on my experience, there is some misunderstanding about CND and about the network defense, and about the SOC. Yeah, because SOC now is growing in everywhere. Yeah, a lot of company, they want to develop their own SOC center, but the problem is they don't have enough human resource or enough engineer to run the SOC as what it's supposed to be. Yeah? And then, okay, of course, some of you guys maybe will ask me about, will want to know about what is the prospect on how, if you want to work as an SOC analyst, working as in the SOC as an engineer, like to protect yourself, like to protect your organization. And then, of course, later I will show you some of the career path and prospects, because Yeah, like I told you just now it's really growing nowadays. Okay, and then yeah, some overview of the what the CNA course, what is the content in the course itself, and then of course the CSA and the conclusion. Right. So the story, I will just go straight to the story. Why this topic is quite interesting is because in the cybersecurity we have two big domains, right? One is the offensive one, which is, if you know already, it's called penetration tester or the red team. That's why I put in the red color. And the job desk or the job function of this offensive team is to try to find the vulnerability or try to get access to your system. But in the other side, we have also the people that is working in the defensive. People in working in the defensive, that means they are protecting the system, and they're protecting the network, regardless of what kind of business, not like business, what kind of business that they're doing. Because I can see nowadays a lot of the company, they have both even. For example, if the big company, they have both the offensive team and they have both the defensive team. If you ever heard about the red team and the blue team, so that's why we need to make this very clear, who will be involved in the offensive and who will be involved in the defensive. And so far, there is some misunderstanding, some not misunderstanding, some misconception about the defensive, because people, they will think that defensive, that means they only need to buy the hardware appliance, firewall, IPS, and so on. But actually, it's not as simple like that. Okay, offensive, I'm sure all of you guys know already. Offensive is like, yeah, you learn how to hack, you learn how to find the vulnerability, and you learn how to do a penetration testing. Okay, but defensive, now be careful, it's not as simple as just buy an hardware appliance and buy the what you call the security protection devices, right? So the reason why there is a CND is actually for the certification is to protect, to give the students and about the knowledge how to protect, detect, and responding to the threat of the network. All right. Okay. Last time when there was a CND, this one, we think that this is enough, because when you have this knowledge, that means you have already the capabilities, to protect, detect, and responding. But actually, this is not enough, because this one, that means is called, I can say, based on my term, this is just a passive protection, right? So passive protection means you only protect, you only detect, you only respond, but you don't do more than that, right? Because if you ever heard about the PDCA in the in the ISO cycle, plan, do, act, plan, do, check, and act, right? But in the CND, of course, yeah, it's just not, it's basic, but CND will teach you how to understand the fundamental of the network technologies, software technologies, and then software automating, and how to analyze the what you call this, the subject material, and then network defense fundamental, what is IDS, perimeter, secure IDS, tunneling, VPN, firewall configuration, network traffic signature, and then after that, yeah, how to design the network security policy and successful incident response plan. But again, I tell you guys, this is only to protect yourself, and this is not reactive, but this one is only passive protection. Okay, so later I will show you what is the difference between the CSA. Okay, nowadays a lot of the company, especially the big company, they know that they need an SOC. What is the SOC? SOC is the Security Operations Center. That means this is not only defensive group or defensive people or the blue team people, but SOC is actually they receive the output or they receive the report from the red team, sorry, from the blue team, in order for them to improve their security measure, their security protection. Yeah? Because on the SOC itself, it's not only how to protect yourself, but SOC, you will learn how to analyze. You will learn how to analyze what happened in this, for example, in the periodical of time, and then what to improve. And then after that, you need to learn how to correlate, for example, how to analyze the log management, how to analyze the incident, and how to deploy the CIMB and the security incident event management deployment. And of course, in the CSA, you will learn more than the CND. You will learn about the advanced incident detection, and of course, you will learn a bit about incident response. Additionally, the candidate or the student, you will learn about the how to manage various SOC processes, because SOC is not only the hardware. If in the CND, we learn about the hardware appliance, firewall, and so on, but SOC including the process, people, technologies to collaborate with the computer security incident response team at the time of that need, right? Okay, so this is the difference between CSA and the CND. Remember, CND is the passive detection, passive defensive, right? But CSA is more into reactive. Imagine this, hacking is like in the real world, right? So if let's say you want to protect your house or you want to protect your home, okay? So you already have a lot of parameters. For example, you have in your home, in your house, you put the what you call this, like a security alarm, and then after that you put a CCTV, you put 10 meters of fences of like something like that. But the problem is you only like I can say you do you have everything that you need, but you do nothing. You only analyze, detect, and then after that, what you can do after that, right? What else you can do? What else you can do to improve your or what else you can learn from the incident that happened to your house? Okay, so that's why there is an SOC. And the other interesting thing from the how if you working as an SOC engineer is, like if you see in my slide, that since the creation of the SOC, the security division has seen an overall 64% decrease in the incident response time. So SOC again contribute to the response times for the incidents, because why? SOC is more into the reactive. It's like you have a house like just now, and you have a defensive parameters, defensive hardware, but then when incident happen, what do you want to do? Okay, so that is the point of the SOC. Okay, and moreover is like this: a lot of the business, a lot of the company or organization, their main business is not IT. So nowadays I can see a lot of project like in my country or like in other country in Asia Pacific, that they want to outsource, they want to run the SOC, but they don't want to have their own SOC system, because it will, yeah, of course, it will cost a lot. So in my country as well, I have a lot of project to outsource the SOC. That means they trust us to do the security operation center, because they don't want to spend a lot of budget and time just to create an SOC, the central of the security operation center. They have a perimeter, but then after that they send the log files, they send the report and incident and everything to our SOC center. So our job in here in the SOC is to create, to analyze, and then after that we send the report to them back, and then after that from the report we can give the recommendation. Is them like pen testing? So remember in the offensive security, in the pen testing project, not all of the company they have their own red team, right? But they outsource to another pen testing company. This one also happened to the SOC. They have a defensive system as well, but they don't want to analyze. They don't have time to analyze the incident. They don't have time to create recommendation and so on. So they prefer to put the to send the report to the SOC, and then they will prefer to get the information or to get the advice from the SOC clients, from the SOC provider. So this is a very good I can say career path and prospect, because to be honest, in my company itself, I have a contract to run the SOC for one of the government institution, and they want us to do the SOC for, let's say, the contract is one year contract, and it can be extended. So the problem is nowadays, a lot of people, they in my case, in my country, a lot of people, they are all mostly they are already in the pen tester, but we don't have enough resource to run the SOC. That's the problem right now. Okay, so I'm very glad to give you this presentation in here, because I want to have a lot of SOC engineer to help me later on, maybe to run my SOC services. Okay. So again, yeah, as always, if you ask me how to become an SOC engineer, right? So I took this quote from Lao Tzu: "A journey of 1,000 miles begin with a single step." Some people say, "Oh, Billy, I want to become an SOC engineer." So how to start? Okay, again, yeah, thanks to EC Council that they have now the another curriculum, another module is called the CSA. It's only 3 days course. The CSA, let me check first. The CSA, and the content of this CSA training is to cover the fundamental of SOC operation. Again, I would like to highlight the SOC operation. Remember, this is the SOC operation, right? Before relaying the knowledge of log management and so on, so on, so on to the computers security incident response team at the time of it. And this course is only 3 days, but actually on these 3 days, yeah, it's enough. I can say, yeah, you must start from here first. And then after that, you can go to the next step, like for example, to go to the pen testing level and so on to get more knowledge about what is actually happened and what is actually what is the incident happened on how to update your knowledge, how to keep up to date with the incident. Okay, so that is my yeah the overview of the difference between the CND and between the CSA, because CND is just only to defense. Like if you look at this at my screen, CND actually certified network defender. You can get this diagram from EC Council website as well. And if you look at this, in the CND, the objective of the goal is to maintain your network. Like you can go to the EDRP to learn about the EC Council disaster recovery professional, to learn about how to recover your system as soon as possible. And then after the incident handler, and after that you can go to the next level. And if you look at the job roles, look at this: network security administrator, network security engineer, network defense technician, security analyst, security operator. And if you look at this, all of this is actually the entry level for the CND. So, okay, in the CSA, okay, in the CND, again, and this one I would like to highlight, is to protect, detect, and respond. So this is a bit different, not a bit different. This is the single step. This is the first step that you can take, okay? Then after this, if you want to be more focused on the CSA in the SOC, okay, I will skip this one first. In the CSA, if you look at the job role of the CSA, okay, CSA, you must have a basic of the CND first, okay? If you look at this, you can become as a network security administrator, network security engineer, network defense, but mainly you will work as an SOC analyst, okay? So that's why this one is specifically designed for the SOC, to work as an SOC. I have a client in London, I have a client in Singapore and Malaysia, and they want to learn more about how to run this SOC, okay? So I will go back to the slide. Okay, this is just some overview. It's actually if you take the CND, what you can get, actually this one you can get from the EC Council website as well. And of course, look at this CND syllabus. If you see, and later I will show you the comparison between CND and the CSA. So if you look at this, all of this, it seems like a very basic for you guys, maybe, but actually, yeah, everybody start from the single step. Everybody must start from somewhere, right? So if let's say, oh really, I already know about network defense fundamental, I already know about network security threat vulnerabilities, and I don't know about the thing. Don't worry, guys, because why? All of this, the first modules, the first 1, 2, 3, 4 modules until this one is actually to set the same base knowledge. So all of you guys, I know I run the class almost, maybe I forgot, maybe 100 plus or 1,000 plus. So I know in my class, a lot of my students, they come from different background. Maybe they know already about the how to protect the network. They know already learn about the networking, and they know already know about the security. But the problem is, in my class, we have to set the same base knowledge. So it will be easier for me to deliver the class, and to go to the next chapter, especially if, let's say, if I ask my student, okay, after this, what next? Okay, so some student, they will go to the, for example, pen testing track, or some student, they like to, or depends on the job itself, they want to go to the SOC. Okay, in the CND itself, don't worry if you attend this class. I forgot. Later you can check to EC Console or Pritama. What is my when is my next CND class? Like for example, this is just a simple explanation, just a simple iLabs. EC Console has an iLabs, a virtual lab. This is an example of the iLabs from the CND, where in here you can learn about the PKI, public key infrastructure, how to create the private certificate, public certificate, and any others, and send an email to your friend. This is just a very simple one, all right, in the iLabs. But in the CSA, a little bit different. Like this one, as I told you, CSA is actually the next modules, after CND, because some people, they like to it's a challenge for some people. I heard from my student, oh Billy, I like to become in the blue team as as a defensive, because they prefer learn how to protect their network. So in the CSA, I will show you. This is the main point of the CSA. First, CSA course train the candidate to use various defensive measures. Maybe this one is the same like almost the same like CND, but in the CSA, it is more into how to collect data from multiple sources to be able to be identify, analyze, and report the event. Yeah? And then CSA offered the insightful understanding of end-to-end SOC overflow. So in the CSA itself, not only you learn how to identify, analyze, and report the event that is sending from the CND people, from the defensive people, from the blue team people, but of course also you will learn about the real or the proper or the methodologies, procedure, and process, and how to create the correct and the comprehensive and to document the incident. Because why? Yeah, garbage in, garbage out. Okay, that means if you can get the correct or the proper what you call this reporting and document of the incident, it will be easier for the SOC manager, to take the action of what we can do after that. So that's why in the CSA you will also learn. We will give you a various case, a lot of study case in the CSA, and more of I can say more into the CIMB, security information and event management solution. Remember, CIMB is only the tools, right? But again, we as the human, we must be able to analyze, and then we must be able to get the conclusion, and then it's related because it will affect into the decision maker. Okay, what we can do after this, right? So that's why candidates will learn incident detection on the different level: application level, insider level, network level, and the host level. Okay, not only that, in the CSA, we will learn about the rapid incident detection with the threat intelligence. Okay, maybe some of you guys already know about the threat intelligence. Okay, threat intelligence, that means you must be able, now this is also in growing, because threat intelligence means, if you look at this intelligence, means you must be able to predict what will be happen next, what is the prediction, and what is the other threat that will be coming into our system. So this one, if you ever heard about the machine learning and so on, if you combine the CSA, like for example in CIMB, using machine learning and so on, you can get a forecast. I can say a forecast about what kind of the threat that will be coming into your network. So this is the difference between, this is the mainly difference between CSA and CND. Okay, anyway, don't be surprised later, in only 33 days you will get 45 elaborated use case. That means in the CSA you will learn, this is case, okay, this is case about the malware, this is case about the DOS, this is case about the advanced persistent threat, and you must be able to understand, and you must be able to identify the result from the CIMB, and then after that you create the analytic, and then of course, you need experience, of course, but don't worry, experience you can get later on, but at least you get the concept first. And CSA is a practically driven programs. We have a lot of hands-on experience on incident monitoring, detection, triaging, and analysis, and also covers containment, eradication, recovery, and reporting to the security incident. So let's see. If you look at my slide, there are around 80 tools incorporated into this class, into this training. So I like this class as well because it to open your minds and to open your knowledge that actually it's not as simple as just to analyze and looking at the report from the CIMB, because later you will see, I promise. Later you will see that you will, some of my students, they say, oh my goodness, this is actually what happened. And then if they can improve their knowledge, they can combine with the machine learning. And I have my student will be presenting in the Black Hat Asia this March in Singapore, and he has also he already created with his team what they call this as a net hive. You can check in the blackhat.com, and he's going to present about how to the most comprehensive science, and then connecting to the machine learning, so we can predict. So it's not just a prefactum, it's not just only the fact, but we can also predict what will be going to happen next. So this is called threat intelligence, right? Okay, looking at the CSA program itself, we have 22 labs total and demonstrate the process aligned to the SOC workflow. Again, in here, we will focus on the workflow, process, procedure, and so on. And then we will learn about the modus motif operandi of the different attack of the application and so on. And then working local on centralized logging concept, and then example of CIMB use case development and so on, and triaging of alert to provide rapid incident detection and response. And then you must be able to create or analyze or create the prioritization and escalation of incident. As you know, in the very big network, in the very huge network, we have a lot of incident, but which one you must take care first, or which ones you must protect first? So that's why in the CSA course, you will learn how to create a prioritization. Remember, in the CS or in the pen testing, we know the vulnerability CVSS scoring, or risk management, impact, and then after that risk. You must be able also in here in the CSA, you will learn how to create which one is the highest priorities, and which one is the moderate, and which one is the low priorities. And from there, you know how to escalate the incident. So you will be able later on to react. So that's why the keyword again is to reactive. To react, what you need to do, what you okay. If you remember this, do the first thing first. Okay, and the rest like containment of incident, you know this already, eradication of incident, and then after that recovery from incident, and then after that reporting to the incident to the SOC manager, right? So this is an example of the iLabs in the CSA course. I'm sure you are familiar with this. This is an alien fault, just one of the product alien fault, and so on, so on. As you know, if you look at this dashboard, this alien fault is only a software. This one is only to give you the insight, the summary of the what kind of the incident that happened today, or a periodic of time, and so on and so on, so on. But I can say this one still not enough. Is because why you need to combine from multi science, okay, not only one science, okay. This is only to help you to collect the incident from many security device, okay. So as you can see in here, like in my lab, like in the what you call this, in the alien fault, how to configure. We're gonna teach you about this, how to configure the alien fault or SSIM, and then after that, how to look at the dashboard, how to read the dashboard, and so on. And not only that, in here actually you will learn how to create. If you ever heard about the Elasticsearch, Elasticsearch, this one, Elasticsearch. Okay, this one is also growing nowadays. And the sixth source for the security is a search engine based on the Illusion library. But in the SOC, sorry, what just now, CSA Certified SOC Analysis, statistics for cybersecurity as well. So there is some programming topic in here, how to tackle cyber challenge with Elasticsearch, because this Elasticsearch you can use to create a machine learning, but you can also to do the big data analysis, because in the log file, if you ever look at the log file for the web application or web server itself, 1 hour or let's say just only 10 minutes of the very busy web servers, the log file it can be 1 terabyte on something. So you need something, you cannot just use a normal relational database management system. You need to use a big data science like Hadoop or something like that to do data crawling, and after that to create what you call this data mining, and data the conclusion of what is going on. You cannot just use a normal relational database. You need to use something that is more than that. And then in here, sorry, I forgot to show you in here that actually in the CSA you will see that how to create the enhanced incident detection with threat intelligence. So in here, if I'm not mistaken, I forgot, you can see from here in module 5 or 6, if I'm mistaken, there will be an example of how to write a script, not the script, how to use Elasticsearch to do data mining and data scientist, and of course to do data crawling in the big data domain. So look at the difference between the CND and CSA. In the CND, you will learn about the device itself, firewall ideas, VPN, network defense, traffic monitoring, vulnerability, and data backup recovery. But in the CSA, even it's only 6 modules, but this one is more advanced, how to analyze what happened in your network, what if your firewall got hacked, what is the log file from the IDS in the VPN, and then combine into the CIMB. And of course, in here, you will learn how to analyze that report that is generated by the CIMB. And then, yeah, if possible, later on in my class, I will show you some example of how to connect your CIMB reporting into the machine learning or artificial intelligence. So that is the good things from the CSA. I hope you understand about this. I hope you can get the big picture about what this CSA about. So again, CSA is to prepare you to be work as SOC engineer, or even to become as an SOC manager, right? So now the conclusion is this one. In the CND, they will teach you different defensive tools. And again, look at this. This is only tools and methodology. But in the SOA, in the CSA, you will be more focused on reactive defensive. So that's why CND, and then you learn about the CSA. It will, yeah, if you have your organization, and if you are lucky that you have both division of both unit in your organization, you can get a very powerful defensive strategies, because you have the devices, you have the hardware appliance and so on, and also we have the strategies. Okay, so that's why these two combination is, I can say, is a killer combination because this one, yeah, not only to, yeah, network defense sometimes only, oh, really, I want to buy something, I want to buy this, but that one actually is useless if you don't have the very good strategy. So the highlight for this presentation is in my slide just now, in the last slide. So defensive is more, CND is more into the passive defense, and SOA is more into the reactive. So you can imagine, you can defense passively, and then after that you can defense actively. As we put, remember, this is always our motto or slogan. To beat the hacker, you need to think like a hacker. And hacker also have the highest or the latest technique, but and of course, yeah, as a network defensive, you need also to learn, or you need to know also to think about how to protect your network in the very advanced techniques. Yeah, remember, hacker is always one step ahead. Nowadays, we can see there's a lot of APT, advanced persistent threat, and any others that the attack or the technique is very, very advanced and robust or rapid. So that's all from my presentation.
Thank you everyone for this amazing content and interesting subject. This is Hamad Al-Kathiri. I really am looking forward to provide some good insight and quite some of my experience. If we are talking about actually cybersecurity and securing an organization, people would start thinking about tools or technologies rather than actually looking at the bigger picture here. And old-fashioned people would think about firewall, antivirus, and that's it. That's enough for the security of the organization, which is no more available or not applicable for an organization to be secure. There's a lot of studies about the impact of the experience of cyber attack in 2018, but the most recent study that I have read, that nearly half of the organizations in 2018 were attacked, and that's actually a very big number. So when I've been asked why is the cybersecurity team is important for an organization, and what are you doing, guys? What are you really protecting? I would actually talk about how people are getting impacted, how people are getting their jobs are lost, their businesses are getting actually closed. They would declare bankruptcy for small business, of course. But the idea is half of the organization being attacked. That's a lot, and even worse, more than 67% of the small and medium businesses had been attacked in 2018. So those are big numbers. And to go further, why are they being attacked? What is being targeted for this campaigns? So for the attackers, the gain is actually multiple areas. Sometimes it's a reputational target. Sometimes it's a financial target. Sometimes it's operational, some kind of competition in the market, and they would cripple the operation for this company for that company to gain more. And sometimes it's more than that. It's a privacy issue. They want to have your customer data, their private numbers, the private credits, the health information. Those also are target. Sometimes it's intellectual property for the factories doing some kind of studies. They have their centers of development. They do have a lot of things that they're doing. This is actually money for the attackers. So all of those are things for a cybersecurity professional that he needs to think about to protect. Doing the protection itself is not an easy thing, but this is the first thing that someone should think about. What I am here for, why I am doing this in this organization, what should I look for to protect? And to protect against what? The types of attacks are a lot. We heard about the denial of service attacks. We heard about the phishing attacks, the password, SQL injection, cross-site scripting. All of those are attacks, but now I can say the attacks are growing faster and faster, and we can't even keep up with. So let's go for the responsibility of the cybersecurity. Who is responsible? The wrong perspective that the cybersecurity relies on the shoulders of the cybersecurity team is no more valid. Everyone in an organization should be part of this. It's a lot to take in, and everyone should think about the cybersecurity impact before doing his job. You know, they say that the weakest link in the chain is people. If you spend billions of dollars, not millions, billions of dollars on tools and technologies and doing them right, a small mistake from a human error would just send all of those to nothing. So let's start actually by the idea of protection. So how to secure an organization? The idea of protection is not actually hard, but it's not actually simple. So the idea would start of doing your threat prevention. You need to have the threat model first for prevention of anything that happened. You to have your security governance set up right with policies and procedures, because you can't actually just have tools in there. We don't know that the information security team would work on three actually pillars: the processes, technology, and people. I would put technologies. Without processes, it would fail. Technologies without people knowing how to use them, it would fail. So it's actually a triad: technologies, processes, and people. So building the governance, processes, and policies, first thing, you need to have the secure architecture and design of the whole organization. You need to do some risk management and assessment continuously, doing the assessment of the risks all over that infrastructure and organization. You need to do the vulnerability assessment, penetration testing for all the services running, all the internet-facing and internally servers and services. You need to start doing this on actually a periodic phases, to know before that those are threats that you need to be closing. The projects, you need to be included in all projects in your organization. Third parties, you need to be included in all the contracts that are built with your organization and third parties. You need to know exactly how secure they are, what kind of threats that they are providing with them. Once you actually connect to a third party, if he is infected, that infection would come to you. So you need to protect yourself against that as well. So once you actually have all of those in place, now you need to think about technologies. What kind of technologies that you need to go for to reach the defense in depth for security actually controls. You need to have the perimeter security setup, the network security, the endpoint security, the application security, data security. Each one of those have its own controls and tools that can actually do the security for them. But you need to pick right for the organizational specific area. And after you implemented all those, the defense tools, you need to start the active monitoring and response. So once you actually are done with the tools, the security of all the levels that you are thinking about, you go for monitoring. That's we call actually reactive monitoring and response. So you need to have the tool set up, the SIMB solution. You need to have a very good SLA for those incidents. When that incident is out, how can you close it, and when and whom to call, with escalation matrix set up for the place. And you need to have the incident response plan identified as soon as possible. This is your Bible, or let's say actually your guideline. How would you act if an incident happened, with all the categories of the incident response: identifying the incident, protecting the asset, detecting and response, and also recovering after the incident is very important. So this is reactive. So let's go for the proactive. What's the idea of proactive security? Proactive is being actually in charge of finding the problem before it happens, before it actually compromises your network. So we call it actually threat hunting, being on top of things. The threat hunting is actually starts with easy things and goes to reach very hard things to catch. It can start with hash values lookup, small tools looking actually like a legacy antivirus, looking for hashes. If it's there, well, catch it. looking for IP addresses based on the threat feed that you have. You need to have that very good. You need to have very good threat feeds and agreements with partners. You with all the bad actors in the market to start looking and scanning for your network for those bad actors. You need to have domains, for example, looking for those network architects. If you find, network artifacts. I'm sorry. If you find those artifacts, that means that this is actually a compromise. You need to mitigate. And finally, we would reach the TTPs, the tactics and procedures that the attacker would use. Those are very hard to identify, and it needs very specific type of skills to do. This is being actually proactive doing the security. So if we can see the reactive and the proactive measurements, or let's say process, I would say the reactive is doing the SOC, the incident response, the forensics analysis, and the continuous learning for the organization. And being actually proactive would be analyzing the network, analyzing the red team work, let's say, doing some kind of hunting, threat intelligence. Those kind of things are the proactive that needs to be done to mitigate any coming attack in the future. In conclusion, to wrap this up in a very easy way, the security is not something that would just start with a click. It's a journey. It's a very hard thing actually to reach for a maturity level that is very good. So once you actually start with the basics and go for the advances, you need to have as well the people engaged. As I said before, they are the weakest link in the chain. They need to be aware. They need to have sessions between now and then to be taught what kind of threat that can infect the organization or them, what kind of attacks, what kind of tactics. And though this awareness is from the start, from day zero, you don't need to wait until the tools are set up or the technologies go up to a maturity level. From day zero, start with awareness to be proactively with the team. This is short. I am happy to receive any question or detailed information that is requested. That's it from me.